Hey, I'm Adam Jusko from ProudMoney.com. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, who is Synchrony Bank? Or you may have seen on your credit report or somewhere else the letters SYNCB or SYNCB, which also is Synchrony Bank. So we're going to answer that question. But before we do, I would ask you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So Synchrony Bank is the bank that issues many popular retail store credit cards, including Walmart, the Gap, Old Navy, Banana Republic, Lowe's, the PayPal credit cards, TJ Maxx, Dick's Sporting Goods, and it also is the issuer behind the Care Credit financing. So if you ever had, financing from, maybe your dentist for something with your teeth, or you've had LASIK or other eye procedures, or sometimes veterinarians use it for procedures that have to be done to your pet. If you've had that kind of financing, that also could be from Synchrony Bank. So if you're trying to figure out, when have I ever dealt with Synchrony Bank? I've never heard of them. Any of these credit cards or that Care Credit financing could be, who Synchrony Bank is in your life, and in terms of how you have dealt with them. A lot of times the first time people see that name, they don't even realize that somebody else is either issuing their credit card or is issuing financing of some type. So Synchrony Bank is the bank behind many of these things. Now Synchrony Bank also does offer some regular banking services only online. That includes things like CDs, high yield savings accounts, not a ton of stuff, but they are, one of the competitors in particular in the high yield savings account area online. An online only bank, you can't go to Synchrony Bank and deal with them in that way. But for the most part, Synchrony Bank is known as being that issuer behind the credit cards and other types of financing. So just a little history here. Synchrony Bank used to be part of General Electric. So they used to actually be known as GE Capital Retail Bank. GE Capital was sort of the larger financing arm of General Electric, did a lot of different things. But essentially, GE Capital Retail Bank did the exact same thing that Synchrony Bank does now. It issued credit cards and other types of financing on behalf of other companies versus offering its own. GE did offer its own credit cards for a little while back in the long past, but for the most part, they were always backing somebody else up. At some point, GE decided to essentially get out of the business of issuing credit cards on behalf of others, partially because although it was very profitable, it also carried a certain amount of risk, and in terms of its stock price, GE was sort of worried that having this risk on the books and essentially also having a million different businesses that it was in was maybe hurting its stock price. So what GE did was it spun out GE Capital Retail Bank, renamed it as Synchrony Bank, and that is where we are today. Just on a side note, GE has really done terrible ever since they got rid of Synchrony Bank. Not necessarily because they did, but if their thought was we're going to get rid of this and some other things and our stock price is going to do better, it didn't work. So the bottom line here is Synchrony Bank obviously is a very big bank. They've got the history with GE. They obviously have very big customers in terms of Walmart and all these other ones that I just talked about before. So if you're kind of worried about who they are, or you think, there's some fly-by-night operation, they are not. They are, a major credit card issuer, a major financer, but they're generally do it on what they call the private label way of handling it. They're doing it for others, but they handle all the customer service. They handle all the money. When you're dealing with Walmart or the Gap or whoever it is, once you have their credit card, you can use it at those stores. But those companies are not really dealing with the credit card or dealing with you with that credit card. You're going to be dealing with Synchrony Bank when you deal with one of those credit cards. Now, one thing I do want to say about Synchrony Bank is oftentimes Synchrony Bank has terrible interest rates on their credit cards. You're looking at oftentimes interest rates that are over 20%, oftentimes over 25%. So this is not a company that you necessarily want to deal with if you are somebody that makes a habit of carrying a balance on your credit cards. One other thing that is sort of something that I don't like about Synchrony Bank, something I don't like in general in the financing world, is Synchrony Bank is big on 0% offers that have the potential to be what they call deferred interest. And what that means is you make a large purchase at one of the companies that they issue the credit card for. They give you 0% financing as long as you pay your bill off in 6 months or 12 months or whatever it is. But what happens is, in the fine print, it says if you don't pay off the complete balance within that promotional period, then you will be charged interest on the complete purchase from the date of purchase. So what that essentially means is if you go even, and you get 1 day past that 12-month promotional period and you got $5 left on there that you didn't pay off, all of a sudden you're going to get charged all the interest on the complete purchase from the day you made that purchase. So it's sort of a sneaky little thing. I mean, obviously that makes sense. If they gave you that offer and you took it, then they have that ability to do that. But it's kind of hidden in the fine print, and that's something that we don't really like. And in fact, Walmart actually changed how their credit card works so that that was not something that people could do anymore. They would no longer offer that kind of financing, probably because it made people upset when they found out about it. So anyway, if you see SYNCB, SYNCB on your credit report, or you've suddenly found out that you are a customer of Synchrony Bank and you can't figure out how that possibly could have happened, you obviously have Synchrony Bank as either a credit card issuer for another store that you have a credit card with, or maybe some other type of financing that Synchrony Bank is the backer for. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Please go to proudmoney.com, where we offer all sorts of other personal finance news and reviews and all sorts of other good stuff too. Thanks.